guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're a gym girl who feels like she needs to be either bulking or cutting to be seeing progress, this is a video for you. Honestly, for the longest time, I felt so incredibly uncomfortable just sitting in my body. Like, if I wasn't actively trying to change something, I was falling behind. But honestly, the truth is, when done right, eating at every single phase has their purpose. And honestly, eating at maintenance for me has been where I've been the most confident, I've been the strongest, and actually the most comfortable I've ever felt in my body. And it does not mean that I've not made progress in that time. In this video, I'll be showing you exactly what I eat in a day to maintain my current physique. My full day of eating includes high protein meals, whole food base, it's dairy and gluten free. And girls, when I say to you, I have transformed my body from this to this by making nutritional changes, I'm gonna be breaking down the exact things I've done to reduce my inflammation over the past couple of years so you guys can do the same. So if you're interested in doing the same, still making progress even when you're eating at maintenance, wanting to understand how to reduce inflammation in your body, I genuinely think a lot of you are gonna resonate to this a lot more than you think. So if this sounds good to you, we're gonna get straight into the video. First meal of the day for me is always so important, and something I do at maintenance in any phase that I do is really prioritize having a good balanced breakfast. So I make sure that my breakfast is high protein, got carbs in, got healthy fats, and got fiber. So here for breakfast I have a buckwheat and millet porridge, which is my go-to if you know me right now. This is a great breakfast because it's quick, it's convenient, and I absolutely love it. So we have that carbs coming from the buckwheat and millet base, but those carbohydrates are going to be slow releasing. You've got some carbs from the berries, but they're high in volume, low in calories, low in carbohydrates, so they're really great. Got some healthy fats coming from the dark chocolate and peanut butter, which is actually going to keep me full and satiated until my next meal. So I'm not going to be thinking about food, I'm not going to be concentrating my next meal. It's actually going to keep me satiated, which is so important. And then I have the high protein amount from the vegan protein powder that I've put in, which also makes this so incredibly thick. And I do in maintenance, which really helps me just to know that this is a good solid breakfast without me overeating or undereating. I have similar quantities of each thing every single day, so I know that I'm having a good substantial breakfast. So here we have my balanced lunch. As you guys saw, I've literally just made a Buddha bowl. This is something I do all the time, and it really allows me to hit my target without even thinking about it. So what I think about is making my plate into components, and I do this like with my food shop, I do it with every single meal bowl recipe that I do. I always start with a protein source first. So I've chosen a lean protein source of chicken breast here. This is about 36 grams of protein. Then I always go into my veggies. So you can see that I've got around half the plate of veggies here. This is for nutrients, fiber, but also volume. So if you're a very hungry eater like me, having something like this, which is actually gonna fill you up, is gonna be a lot more satiating. It's gonna slow digestion down. It's actually gonna satiate and fill you up after your meal versus feeling really hungry. So that's why I love filling my plate up with at least half of veggies, and it's really important as well for bowel movement. If you're noticing that you're really struggling to go to the toilet, or you have indigestion or things like that, making sure that you have veggies that are easy to digest. I always say that fiber can be your best friend or your worst friend. So having too much fiber, especially when you're not used to it, can almost block you up. Whereas if you never have enough fiber, you're gonna notice that it's gonna be really hard to go to the toilet, you're gonna notice bloating, etc. So finding that good balance, and I always say if you are on the lower end of having fruits and veg per day, start small and slowly start to build up, and it really does help. So the next component I have is a starchy carbohydrate source. So I've gone for air fried potatoes. This is my go-to. Potatoes are one of the most satiating vegetables carb sources out there, and personally I freaking love them. So you can get a lot of volume for lower calories, and they're lasting energy. So something like this versus something like white bread, it's just going to keep you a little bit more fuller for longer, and personally have a lot more vitamins and minerals in it. Then I've gone for a healthy fat source. So I've got 2 healthy fat sources here. I've got some 85% dark chocolate. So I actually like to have this after I eat all of this, and it's almost like to just end my meal with something sweet, because I've always got that sweet tooth, especially when you struggle with something like PCOS. You'll probably notice that you lean towards more sweet items or meals. That's the sugar cravings, right? Your body's trying to find a source of energy, but trying to give it an understanding what it actually needs versus what it's telling you, or like what cravings you're having, is really, really important to balance your blood sugar levels. So I've got 85% dark chocolate, and then I've got hummus. And then also, just to finish off, a little bit more micros, but also something sweet, is just half a large orange. So this is my lunch, which I'm gonna go eat now. And yeah, if you guys haven't tried it already, I would honestly massively recommend having a plate, a bowl with these components, because it makes the world of difference. I'm back from my walk and it's time for my next meal. So this is one thing that massively switched when I went to maintenance, was just realizing that I'm not stuffing meals in, but I'm also not hungry. And I think that was something that took a really long time for me to learn. And one of the biggest things that I've honestly made the biggest changes, having structured times that I eat and meals. Like obviously it can fluctuate between, you know, like half an hour, whatever. But having like saying to myself, I'm gonna have like 4 to 5 meals a day or 4 meals a day. And that's how I'm gonna structure my meals. And I roughly eat between these times, just helps me regulate my hunger cues, because I know for a fact that I'm a hungry person. And if I don't eat at certain times, my energy is gonna drop, my blood sugar level is gonna drop. So having the knowledge that I have with nutrition and knowing that I need to have a breakfast within an hour to 2 hours of waking to help make sure I don't feel super hungry later on, or my blood sugar level drops, is gonna be the biggest thing. Here I've got meal 3. As you can see, I have a slice of gluten-free bread topped with fresh tomato, hummus, and then I've made a tuna salad, and you can see I've just chopped a load of veggies in here, like as many as I can possibly fit. And then I put some mustard alongside in that. And then I've put in 100 grams of kale into the air fryer with olive oil, lemon and salt. So here I've got some dark leafy greens. I've obviously got a mixed array of vegetables in here, and you can see the same sort of thing goes around, that every single meal I will have a good chunk and a different variety of fruit and veg in my diet, so that I'm filling it up. I'm getting different micronutrients, which is going to help with gut diversity, and it's also going to fill me up. So we've got the tuna for a lean protein source, which is going to help me stay satiated. This is around 20 to 30 grams of protein. I've got some carbs from the gluten-free bread. I might have a kiwi after this because there's not a lot of carbs, and then obviously the rest is just fiber. I have got some fat within salad cream and mayo that I put in the mustard dressing for my tuna, as well as the hummus. But I might have a kiwi and some dark chocolate after this, but just being aware that this isn't super high fat and also not super high in carbs, that I might need a little bit later on. And just knowing that knowledge that I've had from tracking for so long and doing builds, doing cuts, is super helpful. So something I've made a really, really conscious effort with, at least having 1 dark leafy green sauce a week. So this is around 100 grams. So you can see it's a good amount of volume, but like also not a lot. Like as soon as I do this, it's gonna crunch down. I always say to all of my clients, and if you too, have at least 1 dark leafy greens a handful times a week. So things like spinach, bok choy. They provide vitamins like A, C, K, which you might be a little bit harder to find in other vegetables, and they're so rich and so dense. So I always say, try to go for, when you pick vegetables, try to go for the ones that have the darkest, most vibrant color. In the UK, going for like the darkest, deepest red of tomato and like the darkest leafy green of the salad is going to be the most nutritionally dense item with the amount of vitamins and minerals. So I'm going to eat this now whilst editing my YouTube video that is going up for you guys tomorrow, and I'll catch you in the next meal. So I wanted to touch a bit more on inflammation in my body. So I struggled massively, being so bloated, inflamed, skin issues, feeling really fatigued and just hitting a plateau in my training. I just felt puffy, like around my neck, around my chin. It wasn't, I know loads of people say inflammation is just like a fad and it's just like weight gain. Of course there's gonna be elements of that, but you have to remember like there's a difference between weight actual fat gain and actual inflammation in your body. So I noticed massively, like my face around my jaw was really, really like inflamed and actually puffy to touch, especially around my neck, and like in certain places like around my waistline, like to touch, it was actually like I could feel the inflammation. I could just feel watery, like even say when I used to wear like socks and stuff, I could feel it in my body. So a big thing that I've done to change and like improve my inflammation is, honestly, it's nothing to do with food, it's actually stress. Like I think this is such a thing that so many people don't talk about, is when it comes to reducing inflammation, always start with this, like before anything. And managing my stress was one of the most incredible things I've ever done. And don't get me wrong, I'm still guilty of being stressful at times and overthinking, over worrying, which I'm sure so many of you guys are watching are the same. But managing my stress was like number one, which is like the key thing. And you have to remember, training as well is a stress on the body. So if you're overtraining and under recovering, that's going to cause inflammation, right? You're not going to be able to progressively overload properly because you're gonna be tired all the time. You're gonna notice your sessions feel heavy. You probably hit a plateau after a couple of weeks. You probably notice that you dread your sessions, motivation is probably low, or you like force yourself to do your sessions. I get it, like I literally used to be that. The second thing I've done to reduce inflammation is have regular meal time. So like I'm talking like we have 4 meals a day and I eat roughly the same time each and every day. Like that is the number thing. So my body gets used to that rhythm and my blood sugar levels are just stable throughout the day. A common thing that I notice is like just eating very sporadically, and you sort of like miss breakfast because you're in a rush, or you know, lunch is very like, oh, I've got work to do, so I'm just gonna miss lunch. And that sort of like mindset of, well, I need to be doing more, so I haven't got time to eat. And I think that is a big thing that I felt guilty of, was let me hoard my calories for later so I can have a bigger meal and things like that. And the body does not love that, right? The body loves contingency, it loves regular energy. So something I suggest is just having regular meals. Another helpful tip that I have done to help reduce inflammation as well is get actual lymphatic drainage massages. So I don't know if any of you guys have done this before, but you can book these and you can do these yourself. Literally like a 5-minute, does not need to be fancy. Like I see so many people have like these crazy morning routines. It does not need to be that. It could be literally like a 5-minute, you do your own in the bathroom whilst you're brushing your teeth, but it can just help drain your lymphatic system. And if you don't know much about this, I would suggest googling it, but it's actually a system that you have in your body, and they help flush toxins, they help flush fluid through your body. So it can be really, really beneficial, especially if you're like waking up puffy and stuff like that, to actually do a lymphatic massage. And you can do that yourself every single day, but honestly that is amazing. Something really, really helpful as well, like with inflammation and like food, what I would suggest as well is having food available, which has really helped me, which is low inflammatory. So thinking whole foods, thinking like majority fruit and veggies is going to be like the obvious thing, right? So like reduce how much processed food you're having, focus on whole foods, focus on foods that make you feel good. And I think the biggest part, and I get asked this question of like, how do you not see it restrictive? And something I would suggest is honestly viewing it in a different way. So like I don't see it as, I can't have that, I could eat it if I wanted to. I see it as, when I eat that, how does that make my body feel? Like genuinely, how does it make my body feel? So as it's Saturday night, me and Denzel usually have like a date night where it revolves around food. So we have just gone out and got a whole load of different stuff, and I'm going to take you guys through exactly how basically I plan around the weekends and still maintain my physique, but also still eat in line with my goal, make me feel good and reduce inflammation. Because a big thing I know a lot of people struggle with is the weekend and like habits and feeling good and what to eat and stuff like that. But I'm literally going to show you, like as an example of us date day, right? I'm going to shut that because my ADHD. We always will cook a meal and we'll like make it at home. Me and Denzel way prefer doing that versus like anything else. We find it so much more nourishing, and we actually rather go to M&S, pick up picky bits, than like anything else, and actually make a meal of that versus like getting a takeaway, because 1, it's expensive, 2, it doesn't make us feel good, and 3, we just prefer genuinely eating like this now. A big hack for anyone with inflammation is honestly look at the food that you're eating and make sure as well to cut down on your eating out. It does not mean that you can't eat out forever, but a big part to my inflammation was making sure that I'm eating 95-98% whole foods, if not like pretty much 100%, just with a few bits here and there, like my extras, which might be a little bit more processed and stuff like that. When you start eating like this and you start feeling amazing, you honestly don't care about the other stuff. Like for instance, I'm not gonna have these, but like, as an example, Denzel eats 97% whole foods, but on a Saturday or, you know, once, twice during the week, he'll pick up an M&S new flavor, what these, red velvet hot cross buns, you know, and just seeing food is so different, and just enjoying it, and like having all these vegetables, all these salads that we're gonna make, and actually making it enjoyable. That's when you start to realize that this is a lifestyle. This isn't like something you have to force yourself to do. It's a lifestyle change. And once you see it like that, it makes a world of difference. So I'm gonna take you guys through dinner and show you exactly how we eat whole foods, dairy-free, gluten-free, high protein, essentially date night, and how we make it. But also, you're gonna see the spread because it's gonna look amazing. How old is this? So as you can see, we've literally got like a whole spread. Me and Denzel have made this together, and there is a lot of vegetables here, but this is good. This is exactly what you want. Revolving your meals around protein and veggies, and then like the additional parts, the fun parts. That's how we eat majority of the time when we're maintaining. And it's so easy to maintain your physique and actually reduce inflammation when you're eating like this. And it can taste amazing. So we've got grated courgette, carrots, what else is in here? Lime, garlic, and mint. And this is just like a fresh salad. Then we've got an M&S salad bag leaf mix. It's like one of my favorites. It's like verde or something. And then we've got red onion, we've got cherry tomatoes, and it's in like a homemade mustard garlic deli dressing thing that I've made. We've got air fried potato chips. So this is done in olive oil instead of like deep frying or ready-made chips, and this is really, really good. Then we've got a mixture of steamed veggies, green beans, we've got broccolini, and we've got bok choy in a sweet chili sauce with garlic and sea salt. And I've made this like Asian crushed cucumber salad, which has got a gluten-free soy sauce, garlic, fish sauce, and lime. Denzel's made a dairy-free burger sauce, is it?
Yeah, literally mayo, gherkins, and sriracha.
Yeah, so like that's an easy way, and it's reduced fat mayo, which is dairy free as well. Easy way to still have like your favorites, but just making like smart swaps. Then we've got avocado tomatoes with balsamic vinegar. So obviously all of this as well, I've made like dressings with healthy fats in. So we've got olive oil in there, we've got avocado here, and then we've got sweet corn. And then I've made a pea lime mint in an avocado dressing. And this actually doesn't look good, it is good. And then we've made like a patatas bravas to top the potatoes with. And then obviously I've shown you my sandwich itself, but this is a spread and it looks so good.
I'd rather have this and go out.
That's what I was...
What? What are you talking about? Now we're actually going to be full.
Yeah, that's what I was explaining earlier, that we would rather do this.
Same, it's essentially similar price, to be honest.
Yeah. I nearly forgot my sandwich. Oh, there's not enough food.
Good.
And all of it, whole foods. Literally whole foods. Gluten-free, dairy-free.
We always have that. Have something else.
That's not my favourite. This is really good. This is obviously garden peas, like I said. And it's really like, kind of reminds me of like mushy peas. Like the actual mixture. And then this is really fresh. And the thing is, obviously me and Denzel aren't gonna eat like all of this in one go. It's gonna actually fill us up. We eat 95% like whole foods, don't we?
Yeah.
And then it's just like the odd thing, like my gluten-free bread or sauces.
I rarely have sweets like this nowadays.
But it's like the little additional things versus like thinking it the other way around where like all of your food
That's bang. I want the whole thing.
Nice, right?
I actually want the whole bowl.
You can have more.
I want to order another one of them.
We can eat this, watch a movie. Yeah, here's the downside to cooking at home. How is there so much mess?
Usually,
It's She's so bad on camera.
I clean as we go, but I'm pretty tired today. My feet hurt.
That's the only thing, but we have used an array of ingredients, I guess. Me and Denzel are just making our dessert, and part one is a dreamy CBT to help us relax. So this is gonna have chamomile, peppermint, things like that, licorice root, which helps quality of sleep. This is a must. Okay, this is the setup for dessert. For what watching?
The visit.
The what?
The visit.
The Visit. We're watching The Visit right now, and apparently Denzel says it's a funny horror movie, so...
It's a hilarious movie.
Yeah. This is the setup that we've got for dessert. We've got my buckwheat porridge, I've got dark chocolate, peanut butter, frozen blueberries, because this is like my favourite, with vegan protein powder, and it's like a thick cakey texture. Denzel's got some M&S hot cross buns. We both have those dreamy teas that I showed you. That's my sparkling water. We've got a mixture of berries, blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries. And then we got a big lot of popcorn. And that is gonna be us for dessert.
Why do my hands look so fat? Yo, look.
What would you rate dinner?
Really nice. I would definitely do that again, especially the peas. Peas were bad.
Yeah.
Favorite.
The peas with avocado.
What would you rate it?
I'd give it like an 8.59 because I feel really good after it. And all of it was... I think if the courgette and carrot had like a mix or like a salad, a bit more like some flavour to it. So this is us for the evening. We got our snacks. And that is us signing off. So if you did enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, if you did like the video and you found it helpful, please like, please subscribe, and I'll catch you in next week's video, guys. Bye!